It's Friday morning, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the B-Sides. This is the B-Sides jam for the Quite Frankly broadcast month. I'm starting to settle in to more like a Tuesday, Friday kind of a thing. I think Tuesdays and Fridays would be good at 10:30 a.m. and then spot broadcasts if there's anything big that happens. Just so happens we have some good stuff to talk about this morning. I'd love to get your opinion on some stuff, maybe even a couple of calls, who knows. But hello, let's go to the several chat rooms. We got 4 that we're working with tonight. This morning, on Instagram, Hambone says, "Hey Frank, all will be revealed," says Zenon LV. All will be revealed at some point, I guess. Hello, everybody on Instagram. Hello, everybody on YouTube. Karma Nina. This is the other thing about coming live on a B-side stream is I'm just going to be reading the general chat. It's good to see you all. Paul, Desiree Conrad, Disco Daphne, Karma Nina, Rough Hands. Morning to you, Rough Hands. Wichita Buzz says, "Morning, Frank, Franklies and Franciscans." Smooth Jazz, yeah. It's not smooth jazz. This is electro funk, neo soul, retro groove, Daft Punk inspired psychedelic chill disco. Something. Just something to set the tone, because you know what better thing to listen to when you're having your I was waiting for the coffee with you guys. I was waiting. Why is Linda Love in the YouTube is a light blue color? Is that because she is maybe like the oldest of the YouTube members in there? Very distinct light blue color. What is that all about? Oh, it's so amazing. The Quite Frankly Elevation Blend Coffee with the Keto Brainz. We'll talk about them in just a second, but I just want to keep saying hi to you guys. It's general chat, so just keep chatting with me. Damn, that coffee looks good. It is. It's really good. I got that frothy, creamy, and incredible top on top. It's nootropic on top of nootropic. Wanna lick them feet? Wanna lick them feet says, "Wow, I caught a live." What? Oh man. Oh, I love these names. Anyway, there's that. Good stuff. The audience is just great. And it's another reason why, again, we go live in the morning, so people we don't usually see have a chance to hang out with us as well. Over on Pilled, good to see Vesper, good to see Tomcat says, "We may never see Don Lemon out of the slammer once he starts getting passed around like a beach ball in those prison cell blocks." Okay, let's just get to Don Lemon for a second. And first, let me just say hi to Rumble as well. "It's not melting," says Water Cool Color Blue. "Good morning," says Miss in the Mountains. "Good morning, y'all." Metal Starling, Nordmeyer, Jacob. Good to have you guys. "Hello from London," says Caroline on Instagram. And a Jersey girl, Be Wholesome LLC. Our Jersey girl, Don Lemon's he's gonna love jail. What's that? Hold on. Wait, before we get started, I have to find it. Hold on. All right, here we go. Hold on. I can't start without this. How can we do this? Give me a second. All on the fly. I should have thought about this before and had it ready.
Why would you cancel Jim's credit cards?
I usually can think quick on my feet, but they were so fast on the phone.
This constitutes identity fraud.
Oh, God. I wouldn't last in jail, Oscar. I'm not like you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, you don't know about jail? Oh, you would love jail.
Why would I love jail?
Because you would love it.
Listen, Don Lemon, if he has any significant kind of jail time, come on. I mean, it's seriously, in the chat room, you guys talk amongst yourselves, put it out there. Do you really think that the jail time is going to be significant? It's good. Some accountability that there at least was an arrest was made. Here is the story. Former CNN anchor and now desperate content creator scrounging around in the frozen streets of Minnesota looking for a riot to buy people munchkins. Did anybody need a coffee gopher? I'll bring coffee and munchkins to your party. Can somebody invite me to the party? Don Lemon, little man Tate over here, only he's not smart. Taken into custody after protest at Minnesota church service. Journalist Don Lemon, you want to call him that? Oh, I wish we had John Ward on the show with me right now. Talk about Don Lemon, journalist. Was arrested Thursday night. His attorney and multiple sources with direct knowledge told CBS News on Friday. The arrest comes nearly 2 weeks after Lemon was at an anti-immigration protest that disrupted a service at church in Minnesota. The second time I bit my tongue. I bit it last night, and now it's starting to become a problem. I'm going to bite it at least a couple more times today, unless I stop talking. A source familiar with the matter said a grand jury was impaneled Thursday. The FBI and Homeland Security Investigations, a law enforcement agency within the Department of Homeland Security, were involved in the arrest. Lemon's lawyer, which I have the statement over here, confirmed he was taken into custody by federal agents on Thursday night in Los Angeles, where he was covering this weekend's Grammy Awards. I wonder where. He was probably at a bar somewhere, waiting for somebody to stumble in drunk, some kind of a key grip or a cameraman from the Grammy Awards. Hey, are you working at the Grammys? Can I ask you some questions? Like, what's it like inside? Don has been a journalist. Oh, hold on. Here's the statement. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he... No. What was constitutionally protected about that? There's no First Amendment provision that allows you to go into private services like that on private property and disrupt things and hold people hostage, essentially. You know, so I saw some further testimony from people who were at that service that day that said that they were actually, at least for a short period of time, separated from their children, just because these people became like human barriers between them and their children. That it would be, I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on with the men in that church, and perhaps, I don't know. Like I said, you just don't know what's about to happen. Those kind of raving lunatics come in and they're loud and they're but you know, once you see Don Lemon there doing a story, everybody's going down. Everybody's going down. Instead of investigating federal agents who killed two, oh wow, the lawyer is just as much of a scumbag as you'd have to imagine as the client. The Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, resources to this arrest. No. It's one of many arrests. The arrests and the removal of criminal illegal aliens is continuing. The arrest of at least certain classes of protesters is continuing. And Don Lemon, who did not have a constitutionally protected right to be in on that operation, on that, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. So here's what's going to happen. I don't know what his criminal record is before this. If he's a first-time offender, if whatever the hell else, I can't really see him getting any jail time. I can see him getting a slap on the wrist. I can see this becoming a well-worn battle scar, because you got to remember, he's not a journalist. CNN, he was a box checker over there at CNN for so long. And you can tell now, because ever since he's been cut loose from that large production team that is pulling together news stories, pulling together media, writing his scripts. Now that he's been cut loose, he's really he's so exposed as far as his inability to do anything that is quality. There's no quality insights there. There's nothing. I mean, look at what happened with Tucker Carlson when he left Fox and when he was pushed out of Fox, fired, however you want to call it. And then Don Lemon, you know, those two were kind of like going back at each other. When one was on CNN, the other one was on Fox, throwing snowballs at each other from their respective desks. Both of them get the can. And you could just see the completely different directions that everybody was going in. Don Lemon was a low IQ liability, whereas Tucker Carlson was a different kind of liability. It wasn't because he couldn't put thoughts together and couldn't deduce properly what's going on in between the lines that everybody is publishing day to day in the news sphere. But yeah, it's very obvious what Don Lemon is now that he's had the umbilical cord cut. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And so, if we're being practical and realistic about this, I see this is going to be a very well-worn battle scar. And I don't know what kind of fine or what kind of community service he's going to get, but it's, you know, I'm sure you guys assume the same. I don't think anybody thinks he's going to get 7 years for this and serve any significant part of it, you know? So there's that. There's that. Let's get into the chat rooms. Where's the video from the gamer from last night? I need to hear the whole clip. The Rager, says Brian Easley. Well, I don't have that clip right now, but I was sent a clip by my buddy George. I think my buddy George is actually watching right now. I just saw him join on Instagram, and I have to send you another. And my buddy George got in touch with me, and I'm going to go back into the chat rooms and get everything you whatever you think about this. I want to get your opinions, and you can get them on over. But he got in touch with me. He said, "Hey man, I play Arc Raiders usually late at night." I said, "Where, on PlayStation?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, well, we got to link up because perhaps if I get to jump into a game with some friends a little bit more often, I'll be able to learn the ropes a bit more, and we can start doing some things because I would love." Last night I had another awful experience playing MLB The Show, and let me just say, I have a very, very good winning record. I have a nice winning record, okay? But sometimes I lost last night 7-6 to some bastard. I was playing as the Rockies, so I want the dog shit team because I want to earn the win. And you go up against these these battleship teams like the Dodgers, which is not even fair. And I lost, but it was 7-6. Came down to I had the tying run on second base with 2 outs in the ninth. So it was a moral victory, but not a victory. Anyway, I was so angry. And that's what I do at the end of the night when you talk about the gaming. You know, most people say, "I'm going to have a nice little fun time." No, I don't. I poison myself with rage. I steep in anger and rage, and then I go to sleep. Then I go crawl into bed and wind down from there. Horrible. But here's another one. George sent this one to me since somebody brought it up. Let's see here. Another one. I couldn't believe this one. It's hilarious. I had to like it because I wanted to show up in my feed more often. Here you go. Same thing from that game.
Like you want to fucking kill somebody. Yep. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Do it. Do it. Take me out. Do it. Do it. Thank you. No, I've already had a fucked up day, bro. Go for it. Do it. Make it worse. Fucking put me down. Put me the fuck down. Do it. You fucking bitch. God, your mother raised a bitch. Oh, and you miss? And you're not talented? And you're not talented? Oh, you're a bitch and you suck at this fucking game. And you suck at this fucking game. You
then they take each other out. Now they're both
fucking loser. And we traded kills, you fucking bitch. I wish you the worst in life. Look at what you did. Now we're both laying here like some fucking idiots. Oh God, I hope you sleep on the wrong side of bed tonight. I hope everything you want doesn't come true. Look at you. Look at what you've done. Now we both sit here and die, you fucking coward.
I wish you the worst in life. That's something like what I would say at night. Something like what I would say. I'm sure that phrase has gotten mixed in there from time to time. I'm sure I've wished that the person at the other end of the game. I think last night I hoped, this is terrible. It's a terrible thing, because as soon as I say it, I say a prayer and I ask God, no, please. I take that back. I'm just very upset right now, Lord. I think I wished that the person I was playing, the Dodgers last night, who was controlling the Dodgers, choked on a chicken bone. I think that's what it was like. Oh, you choke on a fucking chicken bone. And it immediately is like, no, that's terrible, because I don't want anybody. No, it's awful. It's awful. Why would I say that? It's the devil, Frank.
He's coming.
And I took it back, and I'm trying to be better. So that's what I have for you there. Let's see what else is going on. All right. Ready to go. Sam, hello, everybody. Good to see you. Creaky. What dude sounds like the tripping lizard. He sounded like and I saw all the gifs that people were putting into the comment section on that. It was like a combination between Batman's voice and a Joker-like message. You know? So there you have it. Swickly, thank you so much for the can over there on Pilled. All right, so Don Lemon, that's really what we're dealing with over there, and we'll see where it all goes. Homeland Security. Speaking of Homeland Security, DHS is offering an incentive now, a bigger incentive for illegal aliens to leave. They can receive $2,600 and a free flight home if you remigrate using the Customs and Border Patrol app, the home app. Leave now. Avoid the discomfort of not knowing when we are going to arrest you. This is from DHS.gov. $2,600. You know, you think about how cheap this would be if we weren't wasting tens of billions and hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, really, on so much other stuff. Get everybody gone. Just go. Go. And in turn, it would make the country so much more of a rich country. We would still have the stay behind problem of the cultural, the brain rot of the liberals who are, naturalized American citizens and have been here for many generations in many ways, but have just lost their minds and have and gradually been groomed into hating their country, hating and rejecting their birthright, and hating themselves. That's the bigger problem. I would love for a lot of these people, a lot of these people who are here illegally, they would probably actually be great neighbors. And when I say a lot, I'm talking about within the scope of the 90 to 100 million people that are probably just hanging around. There's probably a couple million in there, and you probably know a few who, you'd rather trade them, keep them, and send some Americans that back to, El Salvador or something like that. That's the saddest part about all this stuff. But that's why you have an immigration system, because that, if it's done well, if it's managed well, if it's based on merit and prospects and study and the interest in actually throwing yourself into the civic culture of our little project over here in North America, then those are the people you get as your neighbors. And it's fantastic. They're grateful, hardworking. They love to be here. They know why they're here, not just because the dinner bell rang and some skeevy politician from one party or another thought that it would be politically advantageous to have them over here to muddy the constituency with any kind of dependent, permanent underclass of people who can be given driver's license and voting, and or even just the fact of having a warm body with a heartbeat that can be counted and not have citizenship status attached to them in some kind of a census scheme, then of course you get into the whole apportionment situation where you get to figure out how many house seats you can pick up and be able to muscle your competition out in the legislative branch. So that's all, the apportionment situation you have to think about there too, because it doesn't even really come down to whether or not somebody is casting a vote illegally or otherwise. It's just the way that we do our census these days is if you have a beating heart, you are essentially, you demand representation in the House of Representatives or in state houses and all that other stuff. So it all comes down to that. It really does. And here's the issue. Here's the issue. I got this. Let's do something. They were in New York. I don't know when was this posted. Either way, these two guys, they went to New York and they wanted to talk to some Mamdani voters. And it's a predictable kind of rabble that you would think. And they took a children's book that really perfectly lines out what socialism is, and read it, and sat these permanently pajama wearing people down and read them this book and asked them what they thought about it. And of course, they're completely oblivious. If they were made aware of what connections could be made, then we would see the cognitive dissonance go into like full effect. But take a listen to this.
Do you know what socialism means?
We're a little rocky on it.
Over 1 million New Yorkers voted for Zoran Mamdani, a democratic socialist.
But do they really know what socialism means?
This is the toys they shared, a children's book. Tommy had toys, but they weren't the best. He dreamed of the ones that outshine the rest.
So he made a big plan with lemons and ice. I'll sell lemonade, a fair little price.
He worked in the sun, he saved every dime. He cleaned up his stand, and he squeezed all the time.
To the store he ran with his dollars in hand. He bought racing cars and a cool robot band.
Now Tommy had toys that made people cheer, but not everyone smiled. Some frowned ear to ear. This is where it starts heating up.
Oh, so
Why does he get those toys? Grumbled Dan. He's no better than me. We need a new plan.
And he gathered his friends and he made quite a case. Let's take his toys and split them, create a fair space.
Oh no! He just got lucky, one kid added in. Why should he get the prize while we don't even win?
Tommy was shocked. But I worked every day while you all had fun and just wanted to play.
The kids didn't care. They took what they could, saying, sharing is nice. It's for the whole neighborhood.
But soon things went wrong, as they always do, when nobody earns and just takes from a few.
No one sold lemons, no money was made. The toys broke apart and the lemonade stayed. The fun disappeared and the stand fell apart because no one had the reason to make a new start.
Now here comes the part where you can speak loud. Does Tommy deserve his toys, or should they be shared with the crowd?
If you had a vote and you had a say, what would you decide and how would you play?
So do you think that Tommy should have to share his toys with the other kids that didn't work as hard as him?
I don't think so, because the only reason he worked to make his toys is because he didn't have the same toys as them.
Yeah, he deserves to keep his own toys. A part of my brain that wants to be like, sharing is so important and like the message is beautiful.
Yeah.
If the kids are using sharing as an idea to then steal, right? I don't know. It's, I feel...
Interesting.
I feel
But conflicted inside.
a little conflicted.
Okay, okay.
I don't think they should take them.
I think that if Tommy feels in his heart that he can share, like he should share, but I don't think that any of them are entitled to using his toys.
Who did you guys vote for in the elections, if I may ask?
Mamdani.
Mamdani?
Yeah, I support Zoran. I also lean towards Mamdani.
I'm more leaning towards Democratic.
Team Zoran?
Yeah. I voted for Mamdani as well.
Okay, and why did you vote for Mamdani?
He's a pretty fun personality.
Oh,
He's
God.
got a kind heart.
So we're just here for the vibes, no policies.
Yeah.
Do you know what socialism means?
We're a little rocky on it.
I can tell you, man, there are many people that unfortunately need to be brought back to the line in immigration to do it right, that I really wish in some kind of angelic, all-knowing, omnipotent way you can snap your finger and send these people away and keep so many of the hardworking, understood, salt of the earth people who, were brought here through dubious means and ulterior motives. That's what I'm saying. We can fix the illegal immigrant problem, and this, here's the issue. That's the cancer. That's the real cancer. Because otherwise, right there, and that's the other thing about that is, it gives you some insight there. But his approach to being able to sit, it's disarming. You take away anything that kind of triggers them into their political positions where they're standoff. There's a stalemate. They're teeth bared and everybody's snarling at each other. Because of the way it was done, those instincts were not triggered, and you can see how kind of calm, chill, and reasonable people are when they are presented something that avoids all of these pre-programmed reflexes. That's the issue. Like I have, there have been times over the last 10 to 15 years that I have sat down with people in my life, friends and family alike, who, and I told them, you're a pretty conservative person. Do you know that? And they're like, oh. And some of them even said to me, you know what? Maybe. And so it's like, yeah, I know. When you have nothing, no standard, no social standard to uphold, when you are able to just sink into common sense and let all be as it may, there you have it. But these, this has been a learned thing since kindergarten for a lot of these kids, and it's sad to see them so disabled. They're disabled children, and that's in New York. Here is Virginia, and then it's 10:57. We have another half hour we can do together. It doesn't have to be a full hour, but I'm going to open up the lines too. I'm going to check the chat rooms in just a second. Virginia. Can't just say blue state. Well, I guess a once very, very deep red, garnet red state is now going purple to blue right now. And that's how things change. New York was reliably Republican for a while. This is how things change. And take a listen to all of the proposed tax increases that people are learning about that may be coming to Virginia's front doorstep. Virginians' front doorstep. Take a listen to this.
Of the many tax increases and proposals Democrats in Virginia are considering passing. They include additional local sales tax in all Virginia counties and cities, new personal property tax on electric leaf blowers and electric landscape.
I don't know why this is coming in so low. Hopefully you can hear it. Property taxes, especially electric leaf blowers. I heard something about New York. Nobody wants us to use snow blowers. Kathy Hochul can suck my ass. You can suck my ass, Kathy.
Equipment, large employer tax, gun and ammunition tax, new income tax brackets, a delivery tax. This would hit you if you make an order on Amazon, Uber Eats, or an order that includes UPS, FedEx delivery, etc. here in Northern Virginia. There's also a tax they're looking at for events, concerts, an investment income tax, storage facility tax, gym membership tax, dog walking tax, dog grooming tax, counseling tax, digital personal property tax.
This is slavery to such the higher degree than we've ever known. Such a higher degree than we have ever known. Gym membership tax.
new car taxes and highway use fees, an increase in the hotel tax here in Arlington, statewide speed cameras. Now these
and you know what else? You know what else these liberal con artists will do for themselves over there in Virginia, like they do with everything else? They raise the taxes and fees on every little human thing that a person can possibly do in life. To put red tape and make everything, you need to ask permission first. You have to pay for permission first to use the highways. To open up a store, to get yourself a storage locker somewhere, you have to pay the government. They have to get a cut of you wanting to have a place to put your tchotchkes. They need their cut of that. And what they'll do is, because, the law applies to everybody, they'll give themselves a pay raise. So that's sure, we're paying all those taxes, but we get to vote ourselves a pay raise so that we can at least maintain the status quo. Meanwhile, everything that a lot of us who are on fixed budgets, or, we get regularly scheduled raises, or whatever the hell everybody's out there. Or if you're retired, forget about it. Now you are dealing with so much more overhead. My situation over here has gotten pretty tight over the last year and a half. Just with power increases, which trickles down into rents, and I mean it's nuts. It's nuts. Now gas is coming down. Things are starting to look up a little bit more, but damn, man, damn. These are just the worst type of people you can consider.
Aren't taxes, but they would include more fines for some drivers. Dry cleaning tax.
Dry cleaning tax. You got to bring your ties. You got to bring your ties to the dry cleaner so that you have something. You get little coffee stains on your ties and all that stuff. You go to work. You got to, even if it's just a quarter more, 10 cents more, the government needed that nickel. They needed that dime. You got to pay them to get your shirts dry cleaned.
Home repair tax and a vehicle repair tax.
They should really be listening to their constituents a lot more, because these tax increases are going to hurt those who are.
Oh, they don't care. They're mindless. They're mindless idiots. They don't give a shit. They listen to their constituents. Anyway, it's Friday, and we are only going to be on with each other for a couple more minutes. I'm going to open up the lines here. 914-200-0269. I want to hear from you in the last couple of minutes. I'm going to get into the chat room again. Just a reminder about two things. Number one is tonight at 7 o'clock, I will be live on the Playhouse. On YouTube. And also, you can watch it on quitefrankly.tv. But that's the Playhouse. It's going to be me and Anthony co-hosting as usual. And we have our buddies Kyle and Tim coming in, our old bandmates from our heavy metal days. In fact, after we stream tonight, I think we're going to go into the other room and we're going to jam on some of our old songs. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream that. If I do, I'll put it live on the website on pilled.net. So that'll be interesting, but I don't know for sure. So, man, that's going to be 20 years since we all did something like that and played one of those songs together. So that'll be a fun night. The other thing is here too. It's the 30th. It's today and tomorrow. We got a Keto Brainz special where four people who buy from ketobrainz.com and use promo code January are going to be entered into a 4-winner giveaway. So the first prize is going to be $500 worth of products. The second, third, and fourth prize is going to be extra full bags of Keto Brainz Nootropics and electrolytes and all that other stuff. So it's get over and jack up your coffee, especially if it's the Quite Frankly Elevation Blend. All that can be found on quitefrankly.tv. The shop section is a drop down, or in the description below. Support the show by supporting our wonderful sponsors. We only have one or two. We try to sprinkle them in there because a show like this can't survive without not only the subscribership of the people in the audience, which makes up about 98% of how we're able to continue to work and to plan for the future, but we got to break through the next plateau, and that means investing and reinvesting in more production, on screen, off air, all of that stuff. So thank you so much for patronizing our wonderful sponsors. And as you know, if you're already using it and spiking your coffee and everything else, it's not that much of a sacrifice. It's awesome. It really is. If you want to try it, email me, frank@quitefrankly.tv. I'll pay for your samples. All right. 914-200-0269. Who am I going to hear from on a Friday morning? We got people watching all over the place, and all to increase their own pocket, line their own pockets, says Beth and Barron. It is insanity. If you are in Virginia, and oh my, a lot of that is the DC influence there too. A lot of it is. So let's take a call. Let's take a call from 817. You there?
Yeah, Frank. This is Cloud9.
Cloud9, welcome to Friday morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Frank. Well, just watching all of those videos earlier this morning, got the news report that Don Lemon was arrested, and so obviously I was surprised and shocked that an arrest went down. Do I think anything's going to come of it long term? Probably not. But honestly, I mean, kind of like what the left says, it's a good start, and hopefully we'll see something more come down the pipeline. But he's probably going to use this as some type of galvanizing call, saying, "Oh, look at me! Look how much I've been, oppressed," and so on and so on down the line.
Yeah.
And then on the other end of this, I didn't know about the state of Virginia, or at least Northern Virginia, just basically onslaught of new taxes, including, what was it, gym membership taxes, dog walking taxes. What else was mentioned?
Oh, I mean, listen, right now, you can just make something up in your head and they probably have it covered. It was storage taxes. It was event taxes, concert taxes. There was the gym membership taxes. I think you just said that. There was personal property tax, which goes right down to even, what kind of lawn care appliances and equipment that you're working with. I guess like a hedge trimmer. I mean, it's whatever you can think about. You could throw it out there and it's probably covered. These people, they probably stayed up late. They probably had a slumber party. They were doing each other's nails and like watching Grease and all that shit. And we're just like writing stuff down that they can tax. That's really what I think the thought process came into this. There's nothing else I can consider.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is basically textbook tyranny. I mean, I think this is more taxes than what they had in 1776 or 1775. It's got to be at this point, at least within the state of Virginia alone. I mean, outside of like, property inheritance taxes, gosh, I mean, like you've got to think about, okay, if this is actually supposed to go through with Trump's plan to, use tariffs as a way to counterbalance how much the federal government is taking from federal income and all these other areas, you've got to hope that at some point the amount of taxes that we're paying the federal government is going to be supplemented through whatever other means that, the administration is trying to do outside of, the U.S. Treasury bonds and then with the tariffs. But man, if you live in a blue state, man, you're screwed, especially if you live in, sorry, Frank, if you live in, close to New York City or Los Angeles or Chicago, you're pretty much, and now Northern Virginia, you're pretty much just going to be under so much scrutiny that, it's going to be hell for however long they're going to be in office.
Hey, you're right on that. I'll tell you one thing though. The biggest weight I have around my neck is the federal government. I would actually be more inclined to start putting the screws to my family to say, hey, listen, follow me to Eastern Tennessee or let's go deeper into New England. Let's do whatever. I don't know. Let's go find ourselves some acres in a little bit further west, or I don't know what the hell it would be. If all of this really went away, that's the real problem. I almost figure, like, what the hell's the point of going anywhere when that 30% plus is following me, even if I went out deep into the isolation of the Pacific Ocean and lived in Hawaii. It follows you everywhere. So that's a little bit more of a chilling effect right there. It's like, why uproot my entire life when the real problem I have is going to follow me no matter where. So I think that would be huge. That's why we need to find a way to break apart this.
Well, yeah. Going back earlier though, do you think anything's going to come down the pipeline for Don Lemon? Like, do you think true action is going to be taken? Is there going to be some type of charges levied against him, and will there be convictions?
No, I think you and I are on the same page with that. I think that ultimately, I don't know what he's going to be convicted of, what kind of a judge he's going to get, and depending on what his maybe his status in the public and whatever his record, if he ever had any past arrests for one thing or another, I don't see him getting any significant jail time. Maybe some community service, maybe a fine. I don't really think that this is going to be one of those things where Don Lemon's going to jail, and even if he did, he'd be serving a full sentence. What it is for us, I don't know. I get like a laugh out of it. I appreciate the logic of someone like him being apprehended for being a part of something like that. But as far as what's going to happen going forward, we already know with the split right down the way that we are so fractured mentally in this country. For one side, it's going to be proof positive that there is a tyrannical administration out there that's looking to silence the free and honest press. And for Don Lemon as an individual, it's going to be a very well-worn, proudly worn battle scar that somebody's coming after me for my journalistic integrity and all that stuff. And that's essentially he's not going to shy away. He's going to lean into that. This guy needs some kind of an accomplishment that he can lean into as an individual, because he's been nothing but an embarrassment ever since he was pushed out from the cradle over there at CNN. And then for us, I don't know. Of course,
well, you know what it seems like. It's pretty much the federal government is a mixed bag if there ever was one, because especially from the state level, does Don Lemon live in California? I
don't know. I don't think so. I think he's a New Yorker. Okay. I think he is. Yeah. I think he was arrested in Los Angeles because apparently he was covering the Grammys. I don't know. I think he's a New Yorker, though.
Okay. Well, either way, whatever the case may be, if he lives in California or if he lives in New York, both are blue states. I don't think they're going to go after him from a state level. However, from the federal perspective, who's currently running the administration? Well, it's going to be Trump. And obviously there's going to be some bad blood there. Outside of politics, there's, personal animosity towards one another. And, this has been talked about, so I'm not going to regurgitate, but you already know, everybody who watches the show knows that most federal agencies are unconstitutional. However, that being said, when they're utilized against each party makes a step towards some type of move, a chess move that is going to benefit their party or even the culture at some level. Because this might be, I don't know if this is going to be, playing out to full fruition, but this might actually be a chess piece move that gets towards some correct direction, or at least some level of, F around, find out. However, will something come down the pipeline? That's the question that I have is, we can utilize these institutions without necessarily, at least using them in the way that they were originally formatted, with a law enforcement detail and actually going against criminal charges. But I mean, outside of that, man, I just don't know anymore.
Yeah, it really is just I hate to say it, but honestly, Don Lemon was just, in particular, that. And thanks for the call, Cloud9. Always good to talk, especially on a Friday morning. But Don Lemon is just one of those things that would be a stocking stuffer. I hate to say it, a stocking stuffer. I hate to say it like that, because it's really more so. It's really more so about the people on the. Don Lemon is not willing to do any of the killing. Don Lemon is a weak, untalented hanger-on who will show up to, take the meat off of whatever bone he could find at this point. It's more so the people who are showing up to the churches that would have been there, whether Don Lemon showed up in Minnesota or not. That's it. I mean, that's the real thing. Breaking up those networks is the real deal. Breaking that up is the real deal. Exposing the money, the coordination, the signals chats, the politicians who are helping put these response teams together, everything, the DAs, the judges. Breaking all of that up is the biggest thing. Don Lemon just being this goofy social media content creator hanger on at this point is really just a stocking stuffer. Let's see here. Libra over on Instagram says, Frank, the Yankees signed a 13-year-old. I saw it. They've done that stuff. I remember when they signed Jesus Montero. He was only like 15 or 16 years old out of Venezuela. They make those big signings. They scout somebody and they put them on the path to development. They get them, into education, hopefully make them learn English or something like that. And by the time they're 20, 21, start seeing if they're actually moving through the minor league system and if they become anything. Other than that, the Yankees had a duty off season, kind of just like par for the course. All right, Trevor, what's going on? Hey, Trevor.
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, man?
Am I talking to Frank?
Yeah.
God damn it! I've done this so many times. No, I haven't done this so many times, but I've heard people say this so many times. Like, are you talking to Frank? I'm sorry. Anyways,
well, I accept your apology.
Anyways, I agree completely. Don Lemon is not going to be charged with anything. He's going to be let go. He'll be charged, but no court will convict him, and he won't serve any time in prison at all.
Okay.
But what I wanted to say was Trump derangement syndrome doesn't just affect the left. It affects the left and the right. Because there's people on the right that no matter what Trump does, they will support him. It doesn't matter what he does, they'll just support him no matter what. So Trump derangement syndrome affects both sides, the left and the right.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's how to what degree? I don't know. I don't know if that's
it goes to the entire degree. Like, if Trump invades Venezuela, if Trump supports the genocide of the Palestinians, no matter what Trump does, there's people on the right that are going to support him no matter what.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, there's always going to be, no matter who it is, there's always going to be absolute loyalist factions of a person, a public figure. But out of every last person who voted for him, my question is, what percentage of those votes that he received in 2024 are those who are, loyalists through and through, that whatever the big guy thinks we should do next is the right move, and we got to support him. I can't tell you what that is. I can't imagine it's the majority. You always have a molten core following for anybody, and where a person, a musician, an artist, a politician can do no wrong, And then there is several layers of electron clouds around you of independents and people who are voting and making choices and have conditions attached to their support and are just taking things time by time. So I don't know. I think that Trump derangement syndrome is a lot bigger problem because it's fueling what is a very easily identifiable color revolution in the streets right now. So yeah, I know. Seriously, and again, who are we? You know, we all get together. Are we? How much compared to the majority of the country? Who looks at things the way we do? What percentage of the population do we people who listen to this show really represent? Is it a third, an eighth? You know, so yeah, there are people like that out there who are driving themselves crazy with hatred, and other people who have blinded themselves with absolute loyalty to one person or another. But it's very clear to see which one has been most dangerous, because it's inspiring action that has nothing to do with the democratic process. People are just throwing themselves into the line of fire in Minnesota and elsewhere. Whereas somebody who just agrees whatever Trump wants to do next is the thing that we need to support him on, and whatever. I mean, yeah, those people exist, but I don't. Them alone would not have gotten Trump elected. Them alone would not have gotten Trump elected. His ability to get in with independents and other people who vote and support with conditions attached, that's really what it is. So, all right. Yeah, and Cool Mad Mike says it's not even TDS, it's just anti-America. I've said this since 2016. Whatever you look at with Donald Trump, the kind of things that people do in reaction to Donald Trump has just been, he's been the focal point, the lightning rod for all this for 10 years now. 11 years or so, if you consider the 2015 ramping up of the primaries and everything else like that. It's this has been customized for Donald Trump. If somebody else, hypothetically, if somebody else had come up in 2015-16 and went on the run that Donald Trump had, became president, whoever the hell it is, it's going to be so-and-so derangement system at the syndrome at this point. If Donald Trump stayed in reality television and real estate and all that other stuff, and somebody else is doing all the same thing here, it would have been customized for them, because it's about an outlier. And you can say, well, it's not really an outlier. He's in bed with this. They're going to do it. No. We're talking about psychological defeatism, mind war, psychological operations. When you have a unified front of people who are just lulling an entire country to sleep over the course of generations, to give up what is rightfully theirs, to open up their borders, to deprioritize their nation's culture and economic future and domestic issues on behalf of being part of something that's bigger and more global and equitable and all that other shit. When somebody like Donald Trump shows up and disrupts that psychologically, that in itself creates a panicked, frenzied state. Even if he is on a policy level not anywhere near perfect and has a lot of problems. You have to understand, you remember what we have always dipped into over the years with psychological warfare, and then, of course, mind war, which was a media-based, education-based approach of defeating a target through having them never have the defensive instincts to defend themselves or even detect that they're in danger. So remember, it's really much more about, this is a planned demolition, destruction of the United States, and trying to wipe away the last remnants of what could be a republic if it were ever restored. They want that gone. And there is an issue there. So you take out Donald Trump and you plug anybody into a situation, it's going to be so-and-so derangement syndrome. But really underneath it all is a much larger world order, a much larger objective to create a new world order, if I could be so bold as to use that phrase. So yeah, that's what I got for you. That's what I got. Right. Well, it's 11:25. I think we're doing well. I think that's it for today. Oh, what's this? On Oddity Central, AI-generated conjoined twins, Valeria and Camilla, are taking the internet by storm. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. With more and more AI models and influencers competing for real humans' attention, creators have to, well, get creative when designing their avatars. Flawless skin, perfect figure, and dazzling eyes just aren't enough to cut it on the social media today, but the AI conjoined twins niche is apparently ripe for the picking. Yeah. Well, I already told you, if you know what you're doing with AI and you can create a wonderfully beautiful composite human form, you can probably make a good amount of money on OnlyFans with a bunch of guys who may or may not know that it's fake but doesn't care, as long as it looks like a foot. Like some of our friends in the chat room over there. As long as it looks whatever. The fact that we're actually seemingly going to skip over all of that time and get right into, because you know that this is going to happen, there's going to be a hot conjoined twin OnlyFans account, and we're going to skip right over. It's like almost like going from winter to summer and skipping spring. That's what's going to happen. There's going to be AI conjoined twin OnlyFans accounts. Good Lord. Lonely fans. 4 boobs is necessary. Yeah. I've seen that in Fallout. They should have just gone total recall with the whole thing and just put a third boob in the middle. Man, I've got 5 kids to feed. So, anyway, that's it. That's it for today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Remember, tonight, 7 o'clock, I'm going to be live with Anthony and our friends Kyle and Tim on the Playhouse. You can check out the Playhouse. I'll share the links in the Telegram and on Twitter and in the post section on YouTube. Also, I will say real quick for everybody watching right now, simply, it's 20 years of broadcasting in February, and I need your help to take things to the next level. That where we are right now is astonishing if I were considering where we started in 20 years ago, but I want to go to the next level, and we have to do it ourselves. There's no network that's going to pick us up. Nothing like that. I got a lot of ideas I want to put into place, but I need your support. And I would love to count you among my sponsors, bosses, boss ladies. You can go to quitefrankly.tv/sponsor. There's a sponsor section right on the homepage there, or you can become a sponsor through YouTube as a member. Whatever it is, for as little as $5 measly a month. Measly $5. If you think about what you do with $5, how you waste $5 sometimes, and it doesn't love you back. If you send one of those $5 bills to me, I give you so much love, hundreds and hundreds of dollars of love and content and discounts. You're not going to regret it. I promise you. I'm going to work my ass off so that you will never regret a penny of that. And that's all I have to say. I hope to be able to welcome you over the weekend as a new sponsor. And I will see you tonight at 7, tomorrow night, 9 o'clock for the Saturday Night Lounge on pilled.net, quitefrankly.tv, which will be rebroadcast next week when we have Friday night off. And all the best to you. I'll check you out on Discord and all the member sections and all that stuff. Have a good one, my friends, and enjoy your Friday.